All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and right here, right now, we have the one and only, the phenomenal. We got Code Red right here live on the line, man. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, man. It's official. I'm here, man. Honored to be here. Truly honored to be here and to be a part of everything that you got going on, man.
Hey, man, I gotta say the feeling is definitely mutual, man. It's definitely an honor to be able to converse and chop it up with you here this evening, man. So thank you so much in advance for a little bit of your time.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But I know you're a busy guy, Code, so I'm going to dive right into this interview, man. But I got to take you back to the beginning of your amazing career this far. And I have to ask, man, what originally inspired you and sparked you to venture into the music industry initially?
I think it was like when I was back in high school, and I didn't fit in too much, and I was trying to find my place. So and then one day, we were all sitting in the cafeteria, and they just asked me to rhyme, and I just started doing that. So it kind of made me part of the clique or whatever it was back then, and that's how I pretty much pulled to it. And then through that, I started listening Ready to Die, the Notorious B.I.G. album, and just memorizing that from beginning to the end, and just really drove the passion in me for music, and just seeing his creativity on that album, it really inspired me and wanted me to create my own vision.
And I got to say as well, man, you cannot go wrong with Biggie Smalls' Ready to Die, man. Such a phenomenal project.
Yeah, definitely. It's a truly amazing album, man.
I also, man, I don't care what race you are or anything, man. When Gimme the Loot comes on, it makes everybody feel like this just want to chain snatch everybody.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and it was a whole lot. It meant a lot because the way he just delivered the album, and it was still uplifting, but it didn't have a whole lot of craziness about it. But just the energy that you got off the album and the songs created on that album that uplifted people and made people want to push for more in their life, and just really elevated you to a whole nother level. And I was inspired because he was like a top-notch superstar. He just wasn't an artist, but he lived the image, and he really laid the foundation for a lot of artists and creativity in hip-hop. So took it to the next level in my perspective. Took it out of the streets and put it in an industry state of mind when he came onto the scene.
And also as well, man, on August 2nd of 2019, you released the amazing six-track EP titled Waiting to Exhale. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this project, and of course, is it actually still available to be streamed or purchased today in 2022?
Yeah, it definitely is available to be streamed. The Waiting to Exhale that I created, that was right when I first got down here to Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I labeled it Waiting to Exhale because I was with a group called Hip Hop Cinema at the time, and I was really a kind of in-house rapper before that, but they kind of brought me out. And when they brought me out, I put this album together with them called Waiting to Exhale. And that's really an expression of me trying to develop and find myself as an artist. So that's really why I called it Waiting to Exhale. And it consisted of a lot of creative songs. And it was kind of me getting and trying to mold and develop and find my own way within hip-hop. I still wasn't found entirely. Yet, but it was definitely in the process with Hip Hop Cinema when I joined up with them and began this official journey. So that was the very beginning when I really actually started to step out and really put my head towards music.
And just going back to when you mentioned how you're a part of that group, I have to ask, man, like when it comes to that group, like what is the story behind it? Like how did you guys originally first get connected and form this iconic group?
Well, that's an amazing story because I linked up with them. I'm not with them at the current time, but I linked up with them, and they were molding and developing, their skills at the time. but I worked at Pilgrim's Pride, and I was a trainer out there. And it was right around the same time that they had asked me to make the actual anthem, the Sanford Pilgrim's Pride anthem, which is on all platforms right now. But they asked me to create that song, and it just asked me to create it out of fun, and they didn't think it would come out quite like it did when I assembled it, and it kind of inspired them, and they made it their official anthem. So through that, at Pilgrims is really how I linked up with D-Walk 85 and Fred Black, and they had their own group going, and they invited me into their group and embraced me, and they wanted to show me the ropes of the independent movement, and that's pretty much how I began my journey. We had different visions throughout the course of time, which caused us to go in two separate ways, but I still, work with them. I'm still linked up with them. We're still friends, and I still, support them in everything that they're doing and every event that they do, and they support me as well. We're just not under the same umbrella, you know what I mean?
And also as well, man, on November 17th of 2019, you actually released my personal favorite single by you, titled "Kick Back for the Haters." I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners the story behind this particular song, man, because I got to say, whenever I listen to it, it always has such a deep, phenomenal meaning.
Oh, that's inspiring right there. So "Kick Back from the Haters," it really came from, I was on the MDRS show, Monique DeFrance, music review, which I've been working with them for a while now with TJ Super, Monique DeFrance, Charles Red Hat, J.A. It's a review show on Facebook. So I was on there, and they had a guy named Preemy, and he was going from the review show, and he was dissing everybody on the review show, you know what I'm saying? But the song wasn't directed towards him. It was more or less like I got, it reached a point where he was saying nobody else had bars quite like him. So after a while of hearing like 12 diss tracks, I said, okay, something's got to be done about this. So I pretty much made that song to show him, other people got bars besides himself, and really bring it into perspective, that, to knock off all the hate that he was kicking out at the time, towards other people not having bars. And it kind of inspired me and uplifted me. And it really helped me to actually start developing my own, style and my own culture, and really gave me a firm image of, who I was as the guard, and that's really when I stepped into the guard role, is when I made that Kickback song. And it was really just in defense of everybody out here, that also has bars, and, just really expressing that through that song. So that's really what that was about in the whole situation.
And also, when you mentioned TJ Supa of Radio Supa a few moments ago, you guys actually have a very close business relationship. I was wondering, how did yourself and TJ originally get connected? And of course, what is it like just working alongside him? Because he is such a phenomenal music mogul.
Yeah. Well, I first linked up with him, through the MDRS show. And, I was just a regular artist, just on there submitting my music. But as I always tell a lot of people, in order to be successful, you got to be a part of something bigger than yourself. So through that, I kind of dedicated my focus into his show, because I seen what he was driving towards with his radio shows, and as he was growing and getting built stronger and stronger, in what he was developing. And it made me truly honored to just be a part of the show in any aspect. So I made it, my drive and my goal to really give him, some passion in music that he could actually put on his radio station. And, being on this journey with him has really been inspiring, meeting the people that I've met and given the opportunities that he has blessed me with, getting my songs in movies, and, just really getting me out there on air and getting me connected with other people like yourself, that has really given me opportunity to really express myself as an artist. and just really show the world what I'm about in a major way. And a lot of this wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for, TJ and everything that he has given me the opportunity and the blessings to do, and I'm truly honored to be a part of that and a part of MDRS family entirely.
And I gotta say as well, definitely shout out to Radio Super, man. We've been here at Outlaw Radio FM have been airing TJ's show for the past 3 years, man, and it never misses a beat, man. Always a phenomenal guest and always phenomenal music that he plays.
Yes. It's one rare radio station, and I actually sit there and I listen to it, and it's not quite like the typical station that you would turn on in a car or anything like that, where you hear, you might hear one song that you like, and then the next song you're like, and then the song after that is all right again. I actually put on his show, and it was like song after song. It's just passionate, real music, and it reminds me a whole lot of the 90s when passionate music was really high, and you can turn on his radio show, and you can just hear so much love and the passion and the music coming back through his radio, and it's really inspiring to me to be able to turn that on nowadays and actually hear that passionate music again. Truly.
And also, you've been doing music for almost 20 years. I was wondering, what is some great advice you can actually give some of these up-and-coming artists that are trying to get their feet wet in the music industry, man? Because you've been doing it for 20 straight years. A lot of these individuals are just starting out. Like, what's some great advice you can give these individuals?
The best advice I could probably give anybody is, like I said earlier, multiple things. Probably the biggest thing to keep in mind is that in order to be successful, you have to be a part of something bigger than yourself. As in, like Walmart, it has different brands and different stuff in it. But, those brands that are put in Walmart, and Walmart resells those brands for their company. So all together, they grow as a whole, you know what I'm saying? And you got to kind of look at the music industry in that aspect and actually participate and be a part of what other people got going on besides yourself, and really get out there and engage and actually network with people. And I'm not saying just network as in one time when they're doing something for you, and you're like, okay, he's doing something for me, so now I can promote it, now I can put it out there. You actually have to be, tapped in with what they're doing and tapped in with their movement and make their movement a part of your movement so y'all can grow together as a whole and build each platform stronger, as you go, and really just not putting money as your first priority. I know it's an interest of everybody, but, putting money in front of a lot of things can really, deteriorate a whole lot of opportunities for you as an artist, especially when you're coming from the bottom and you're trying to get to the top, and your brand doesn't really hold weight yet. You can't really say, okay, you want me to do this feature? Okay, you're going to have to pay me $1,000 for a feature. But I pay you $1,000 for a feature, but the song drops, and the views don't reflect the $1,000 that I paid for it. So you just got to keep that in mind and just be considerate and take advantage of opportunities and take small opportunities and turn them into bigger, gain for both ends, yourself as well as the person that you're participating with, in order to make that happen, and that's the biggest thing, and that's pretty much what I've been utilizing to this point, and just really just stay positive in what it is that you're doing, and keep the negative out, man, because the negative is a bad reflection. You have to have an industry state of mind when you're handling and dealing with things. You can't just say one day, I'm good this day, and then the next day you're flipping out or you're mad or you get online or something and say something crazy, that throws your fans to the left, and now they done fell off, and now you got to figure out a way to get them back. You know what I'm saying? So just stay positive, and keep in mind it's a business and operate with a business mind.
And on September 4th of 2021, you released the album titled The Guard. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this record, and of course, do you actually have any hard copies available to be purchased today?
I don't have any copies as of yet, but it's definitely on all platforms to be streamed out. Um, and the Guard album, that was just really me stepping into my element as an artist and my position that I feel like I should be in, and as far as hip hop is concerned. And it's not really saying the guard of hip hop. It's really, it's just, it's really an expression of my music and the music that I present to the world as the guard. And I look at it as, okay, I'm the guard. So it's my job and my perspective as an artist to protect you from anything that you might encounter in this life as you progress through this life. And that's pretty much how I create my music in a third-person perspective, so that anybody that is listening to it can pretty much take that and pretty much put it into their own perspective so they can overcome the obstacles that stand in front of them. And that's really what the Guard album was, created for, is just to really step into my element and show the world what I have to offer. And it was really me and that opportunity of me actually stepping into my role as an artist and claiming the position, in my mind of where I needed to be as an artist. So it was definitely a very, very important album for me, and really launched me to a whole nother level that I'm happy and very proud to be a part of, and to be able to say that I got it done. And MDRS and Monique the French and all them, they really helped me assemble and put that album together and get it out there. So I definitely thank them for that as well.
And I have to ask, what is next for yourself, Code Red? Is there anything we happen to miss during tonight's broadcast? Anything else you do still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still got you here live on the Canadian FM dial this evening.
The biggest thing that I got going on is pretty much the nomination by you. That's coming up. That's really huge for me. That's really important, to be definitely a part of that and be considered in that. It's truly an honor to me. Outside of that, I'm just really working on developing and creating this album global. It's really a passionate album that really, like I said, is in a third-person perspective that is really going to help a lot of people out. Because, needless to say, I lost a family member, to suicide in a situation, and he listened to that Triple X song, Why He Did It. So that was really traumatic for me, to hear that the last song that he listened to was that suicide song. And that really inspired me to create a different type of music, that would empower and uplift people and put people in a better perspective when it comes to situations like that, and really lift them from the ground and get them back to where they need to be as a person to get to the next level in their life. And that's pretty much what I'm presenting with Album Global. It consists of, a lot of relatable songs that are really problem solvers, as I would say, to everyday society that we deal with right now. And I create and assemble the songs in that manner of everything that I kind of encounter right now and how I work to overcome those, truly.
And also, Code Red, this is the time in the interview that I give a chance for the individual that does slide into the radio station airwaves, just a chance to give, shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to, but most of all, man, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything you got going on if they're not already doing so.
Okay. I mean, big shout-out to, yourself, I highly appreciate you having me on the show. Also, TJ Super, and the MVRS show, you know, because they are like my legs to this whole movement right now. They always have been for the longest time. And Christina White and Over Records, which is the record company that I'm with right now, we're trying to build an international record label, you know, against the people all around the world. So big shout out to her, and we're slowly, gradually building that up. Outside of that, you know, my social media is, you can find me at Christopher Bailey on Facebook. Instagram, you can find me at Code Red 061785. Outside of that, on all streaming platforms, you can look up the Guard Code Red, and my music will pop right up, and hopefully it inspires you and uplifts you for the day.
And I gotta say, first and foremost, Code Red, thank you so much, man, for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening and sliding into the 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM airwaves, man. It definitely was an honor and most definitely a privilege to have you on the radio station this evening, and hopefully down the line, man, we can make this happen again sometime soon.
Yeah, it's official, man. I love it. I appreciate you just taking the time out of your day to even have me, or you know, even put me in such an honored position tonight. That's truly an honor, man. I appreciate you.
Hey, man, I appreciate your time as well, man. Thank you so much, and definitely have yourself a phenomenal night, and of course, a phenomenal week as well.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Look forward to hearing more from you.
Hey, most definitely, man. You already know we're connected, man, so anytime, feel free to ring my line.
Oh, yeah. I'm tapped in.
Hey, most definitely. Thank you so much again, Code Red. Have yourself a great night.
Yes, sir.